The median pay of the top US CEOs jumped to record 22.3 million last year. This is very interesting to me given that more than half the US can barely put food on the table right now. It's just fascinating. You know what I mean? And this is the same exact thing that happened in the 1930s Great Depression. It's the same thing that happened in the 2008 recession. I'm not saying we're in a recession right now, but this is what happens whenever the economy goes down. The rich gets richer, the poor gets poorer, and we slowly start to eradicate the middle class, which is literally what's happening right now. Yeah, exactly. How could they possibly afford their fifth mansion and their yacht? You let me know. As workers in a range of industries across the United States demand fair pay and benefits last year, and in several cases were forced to strike as companies refused to meet those demands, median compensation for the top chief executives rose to a record-breaking 22.3 million. This is very interesting because I don't know if you guys know, but the Hollywood writers are also on strike right now too, and they have gone on record saying that they go negative in their bank accounts because they don't get paid enough, and they're on strike. So shows like Abbott Elementary, Stranger Things, they have actually paused in recording and shooting because the writers have gone on strike. I believe today was either their second or their third day striking. Power to the people, honestly. The executive compensation research from Equilar? I think it's Equilar. Anyways, released its annual findings on CEO pay in 2022 Wednesday, showing the 100 highest paid CEOs of companies with a revenue of 1 billion or more made 7.7% more than 2021, driven by largely huge stock awards. Interesting. Corporations have blamed inflation for higher prices on goods and services, but the supposed financial burden caused by the rising consumer price index has not forced executives to take pay cuts. The study shows, bolstering earlier analysis that has shown companies have used inflation as an excuse to unnecessarily raise prices and have pocketed the increased profits. So, you know what this reminds me of? How many in the chat have heard about shrinkflation? We've been seeing a lot of it this past year. Exactly. It's when they sell the same goods for the same price, but in smaller quantities. And so we've been seeing a lot of shrinkflation as well, where if they don't inflate the price of the product that they're selling, they just shrink the packaging. They shrink the product that they're selling so that they could get more bang for their buck, which in my opinion is even worse. Jorge, I agree with you. I think it's 100% worse, to be honest. With the average U.S. private sector employee earning $1,132 per week last year, up only 3.6% from 2021, the median CEO to worker pay ratio rose from 228 to 1. The ratio was 254 to 1 the previous year, an astronomical rise from its level in 1965. When CEOs earn 20 times more than their employees on average. See, this is why people in the 50s were able to buy houses for like a year's worth of work, but now you can work your whole entire life and you probably can't even afford a house. The Federal Reserve, which on Wednesday raised the interest rates for the 10th time to fight the current trend of rising inflation, a tactic that can lead to job losses, has in recent months pushed companies to get wages down for workers, even as average pay for workers has remained relatively stagnant and CEO compensation has skyrocketed. This is interesting because the federal minimum wage is still $7.25. Excuse me. The federal minimum wage is $7.25. You're telling me that the Federal Reserve is telling people to give lower wages? Oh, this 100% feels so gaslighty. And yeah, this should make you mad, Kick-Assly. The way McConnell has said a recession would be good for prices. Okay, McConnell just says things, honestly, at this point. One of the people that we don't listen to is Mitch McConnell. Unless he falls down the stairs again. I'm just kidding. JK. Just to catch up with what their CEO made in 2018 alone, it would take the typical worker 158 years. What? So just to catch up with what their CEO made in 2018 alone, it would take a typical worker 158 years. That is insane. That is insane. Ariana, how do you avoid spiraling out of falling into depression covering the news? I hike a lot. I go on a lot of hikes. I spend a lot of time in nature. When I first started doing this, I started realizing that I would spiral into like very, very, very deep episodes of depression. I've done this for long enough to the point where I recognize when I'm starting to spiral, and I just unplug from my phone, go on do not disturb, and I just hike and I spend time by the ocean and stuff like that. Thankfully, I'm in California, so I have a lot of access to things like that. But yeah, that's what I do. Hiking puts me in a very calm, zen place. From 1978 to 2021, CEO pay grew by 1,460%, while the typical worker's pay rose just 18%. This explosion in CEO pay relative to the pay of average workers isn't because CEOs have become so much more valuable than before. They've just gamed the system to line their pockets. Yeah, I mean, I believe it. Median stock awards for executives went up 20% to 13.8 million last year, allowing CEOs who make headlines by taking low salaries to rake in record-breaking high compensation nonetheless. Okay, so this is very interesting to me because companies like the Dollar Tree, for example, right? How many of you have been to the Dollar Tree and everything is a mess? There's like one employee at the cashier. The cashier is obviously overworked. You would just assume that, well, it's the Dollar Tree, they probably can't afford getting more employees. No, that's not the case whatsoever. The Dollar Tree actually takes millions and millions and millions of profits, and one of the ways they take home that much profits is because they skate by having employees and paying them really low. And so a lot of the employees who actually work at the Dollar Tree are also on government assistance, like Medicaid, like food stamps. There were actually articles about this that came out last year, and it's like the company is compensating them so low that actually the government has to jump in and give them insurance and food stamps and stuff like that. All the while CEOs are taking massive profit. And that's not just with the Dollar Tree, that's with so many other companies too. This is a common wheel. It's like the hamster on the wheel. It keeps turning and turning and turning. It's a very common thread when it comes to American politics. On Tuesday, as television writers represented by the Writers Guild of America went on strike due to their inflation-adjusted pay declining by 23% over the past decade. So yeah, we just talked about that. Corporations can afford to staff more. They choose not to, so the shareholders make more. Absolutely, 100%. In 2021, Endeavor CEO raked in $308 million. Discovery took in $248 million. Disney took in $32.5 million. Comcast CEO raked in $33 million. That's interesting because Xfinity Wi-Fi sucks. Okay, I was about to cuss. Xfinity's Wi-Fi sucks, bro. The fact that these people could actually, you know what? I'm mad because Comcast should be giving fiber to all the people that they serve internet to. They have no excuse. If your CEO is raking in $33 million, you should be having fiber to all of your employees. I don't understand what your excuse is if you're not providing fiber, if you're raking in $33 million a year, your CEO alone. That's trash in my opinion. That is trash. So we'll keep covering and following corporate greed, but I really wanted to cover this article and just talk about it really quick with y'all because this headline, median pay of top US CEOs jumped to record $22.3 million last year. This is America. I feel my hair turning gray from what you're reading to us. Oh my God, I'm sorry, chat. Damn, did this article really piss you guys off that much? I feel like I'm just like immune to this. This country has about to become a failed experiment because of Reagan. I mean, I would say Reagan and Trump, personally. I think Trump also had a huge role in what's happening right now in this country, because he rolled back on a lot of the regulations that banks had to go through. Do you father Heather Cox Richardson? I have no idea who that is. Who is that? I don't know why the fuck I just stuff my face when I have to speak. I do this all the time too. You would think after a year of streaming I would understand to not do this.